Hi everybody, this is Brian David Marshall coming to you from the floor of Grand Prix Vancouver. I'm here with John Torres, who is heading to day 2, playing, well, not a deck you would have expected maybe to see here in Standard at Grand Prix Vancouver. John, what the heck are you playing?
I am playing Maze's End. It's the simple explanation. It gets lands out and wins the game.
So, I mean, what made you want to play this deck?
It's pretty much an auto win versus like the expert control and blue-white lists, because they can't really do a whole lot. Yes, they can get eighthling out, but I have more than enough fogs to deal with it, and I just non-interact with a lot of the field that they can't really deal with what I'm doing.
And I assume game ones are just kind of overwhelmingly in your favor?
Yeah, it's insane. My game 1 win percentage is through the roof. I haven't lost a game 1 today. So very nice.
What's the sequencing here? I mean, like, how does this card work? First of all, it's kind of got a unique. Like, a lot of people think Maze's End needs to be in play when you win, but that's actually not how it works.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, it doesn't need to be in play. All the card looks for is after its activation that you have 10 gates in play with different names to win the game.
And so we've got the 10 gates spread around up here. We've got some non-gates up here too.
I do play 3 dual lands, or shock lands. One of the colors that are mainly primary in the deck, the blue, the green, the white. A lot of people that do play this don't like it because they take the 2 life, but more games than not that 2 life is matter because I'll have an extra color later in the game.
Sure.
Some people play basics instead, but I like the duals because it just gives me more opportunities to cast Supreme Verdict when I need it.
And you're playing 2 of each game?
Except for the Silencia, I'm playing 3 of those because it's my primary colors.
And so what does that add up to? 28 lands?
28 lands.
Okay. So let's talk about the creatures. Okay, we're done talking about the creatures in the deck. So Supreme Verdict, obviously a big piece of this for you?
Yeah, it's huge. Against all the creature decks, like, it needs to come down. There are times where you don't do it immediately. If they have a bunch of creatures out, you want to save like a riot control if you have in your hand to gain life so you can get yourself longer in the game.
Yeah, we definitely had a judge call on the floor. Judge, what is, because you were playing with this fancy pants riot control, and no one knew what it did.
He didn't know what half my cards did. Right, I knew what it did. He didn't know what almost every part of my deck did. He read every single card, which is expected because it's a pile of commons that no one's really heard of.
So, Supreme Verdict, but you're also playing Merciless Eviction, so this gives you a little more utility than the Supreme Verdict?
It's another Wrath. Utility does come into play.
It's kind of a Chroma's Vengeance, right?
Exactly, yeah, but the nice thing is that it exiles, so it gets rid of gods when they're active, which is a huge thing.
It gets rid of gods when they're inactive, too, sometimes.
It does when they're inactive sometimes, too.
We won't speak of that.
We won't speak of that, yeah, that was, I don't know what I was doing, but yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah. Obviously, Detention's here, another big control card
just
for you.
More spot removal. It helps against aggro decks if they commit multiple creatures. It buys me time to get me to getting all 10 gates in play.
I'm not going to lie, a big part of the appeal of this deck for me is right here.
It's so much fun to play.
I mean, if I build this, I will probably play at least 3.
At least 3. I used to play 3. I found I saw them too much. They actually come out of the sideboard more than I want them to. But every time I've resolved an Urban Evolution, I have never lost if I resolve it, because it puts me so far ahead. And even if I don't get lands, it normally gives me 3 fogs, which is essentially 3 turns.
Sure, at least. So let's talk about the fogs. This is a big part of like time walking for you, right?
It really is.
So the magic is really going to push in the direction of creatures. People are attacking all the time, and you're fogging, you're defending the hearth, you're delivering druids, and you're controlling riots.
All of it. Well, and like you said, Magic can push your creatures so much, which is why the deck does so well, kind of, in the format. Like, I need decent matchups. I can't play red decks or I lose, but I negate so many people's deck because they have so much creature removal and auto-run creatures. So a lot of their cards are just...
And you also have negate.
I do run 3 negates, between that or Swan Song. I don't like giving the 2/2 negate. Can't hit gods, but the negate's just better in my opinion.
Okay, and then this is, we'll call this just the 61st card.
This is the 61st card, yeah. 61 cards.
I don't know if you understand how much you tilted your opponent in the second to last round when you were like, oh, and what's pretty cool is I play 61 cards. And he's like, no!
So many people when they pile shuffle, they see 61 and they give me a weird look. And a lot of people are against it, but in a deck like this, it doesn't really matter too much. I'll never run 62 because that's pushing it. At 61 is okay, but this card it's really good versus the aggro decks. If I see it, there's also 1 on the board. But it gains me 3 life. If people play Jace, Architect, or I mean the milling one,
Sure.
It doesn't matter because I'll eventually just, even if I get all my cards out, I can put 4 on the back or outside my library.
You can put 4 on the bottom of your library during your upkeep.
Exactly.
And then you draw whatever. And it might be 4 fogs.
It might be 4 fogs. It could be the Tendrils ready to get rid of the Jace. It could be
the missing the missing lanes.
Exactly.
Okay, so this is pretty cool. Let's talk a little bit about the sideboard here. We've got one more bow. We've got 3 wear and tears. I love putting the cards down sideways like that. We've got a mismatched set of gainsays.
They are mismatched, sadly. I tried.
A 4th Merciless Eviction, but they're all foil.
Yeah, the whole deck is foil. That was very important when I put this deck together, when I decided to foil it out. That I wasn't going to play. If I couldn't get foils, I was going to find an alternative.
For Turn and Burn, this was exciting. This kills a god.
It kills gods, it kills Mutavaults, it kills Master of Waves tokens by making Master of Waves a 0/1 creature. That's probably the best card. Like, the card I hate the most is Mutavault, and it took me forever to find a card that can deal with Mutavault and Obsidian.
Okay. And then finally, this was a card that was pretty exciting for people watching you play on camera, Crackling Perimeter. Where are you bringing this card in?
Against the blue-white control decks, because they just lose already, and it makes them lose even faster. That's for control decks. The mono black decks, because it gives me another way to fight, and that matchup's rough.
Sure, and they're paying a lot of life against you, and they think the coast is clear. So they go into like turbo connections mode.
Yeah,
and they're activating Erebos.
And they think it doesn't matter in a late game. I slam those, or even on turn 2 if I can get through the rest of the thought season. It's normally good enough to win the game. So it also comes in against the red deck wins. That's actually how I have to race them. Thankfully, I haven't played it today. I had 2 buys, which helped me dodge some of that.
Sure.
So, yeah, I love the Kraken. It's fantastic.
All right. Well, there you have it. That's Maze's End. Something to think about as we end this leg of the standard season before Born of the Gods comes out. Do you see any Born of the Gods cards that you would want to play in this deck?
There's a semi-fog that costs 1 white, 1 color. It's prevent the next 7 damage, so it would be down to you whatever this turn. I might run it as a 2-of, because there's already Heroes Reunion, which kind of the same thing, but we'll see.
We'll see. Okay. For John Torres, this is Brian David Marshall signing off from Grand Prix Vancouver.